20 questions a day that come in on a post, you have a 1 in 20 chance of winning $10. And every day we're going to do that. Teaching tips. I think teaching tips are important. Why? Because there are things that I wish somebody had told me when I was starting this journey. And sometimes I know there are things that maybe you don't want to tell your husband, but he'll listen to it from somebody who's been there, who's made the mistake and wants to give back a little bit, right? The teaching tips, Thursday teaching tips, is going to be moved into the app. We offer a discount every day that is, if you buy individual products, it's 20% off retail prices, which from publisher standpoint, that's really good because a lot of publishers don't sell at a discount. We've got a couple things now we want to do. We're going to make some changes to the way we do our Facebook group and the app, and now we've got the Master Books Academy. So we just wanted to talk a little bit about that and give everybody a heads up, and then we'll go into some question and answer. So Moms of Master Books was sitting there. It was actually started by Jennifer White long before I came to Master Books, and she used it as a review team. And so there were about 45 moms in that group, and we would send new books and they would review it. And that site had been sitting empty, not much activity going on. And we thought, boy, that would be a great avenue to be able to provide product support to customers. And so we brought it back up and started promoting it as, we have employees and authors and editors and marketing. Everybody's kind of in this group, and we're going to provide as much product support as we can so that it's a great way to help with product development, product support, and just relationship between the company and the customers. And it has been phenomenal to do that. One of the things that's happened as a result, though, was that we realized that there was a need for community, that people really, Master Books customers were very much alike. They wanted to connect with each other and they wanted to have a place for community, and we value that. We want to be part of that. But Facebook, unfortunately, we only have one feed, and in that feed it can be very complicated. The other thing about Facebook is you deal with a much broader audience, and so it's not uncommon to have people come in that aren't necessarily a good fit for Master Books, and we bless them in their journey and we wish them well, but sometimes they stick around for a while and just kind of make things, ooky. Ooky, right? Ooky, icky, ooky. And it's like, if you're better aligned with another company or another publisher, that's great. There's no problem in that. There's no one size fits all. But so then occasionally we have to deal with that. Or we had one company that would come in and they would drop a name like we use this, but we're looking at Master Books. And what it would do is it would spur a discussion and a debate, and it would give a lot of publicity to this other company, and it would almost always make us look bad because we would have to shut it down. And so over time you develop a great opportunity to serve people, but you also lose some goodwill because you're having to constantly police this relationship side of what Master Books was intended for. So we want Moms of Master Books to continue providing product support, and we want to do it at a high level. And so we have an incredible team of moderators led by Jessica McCullough, who has done an incredible job for us. And we spend a lot of time in the Moms of Master Books, don't we? I feel like I wake up in the morning in the Moms of Master Books, we go to bed at night in the Moms of Master Books, and it's a constant. But we have over 26,000, almost 27,000 people in that group now. And this group is so active, the Moms of Master Books is so active that we have Facebook actually invited us to join kind of a North American group for Facebook admins, because they said, you guys have such high engagement rates, and you have, we want to know what's making your group work. So we're part of this think tank that Facebook has because of the success we've had. So because of that, like, I forget, Jessica said it's been like it was over 600 posts in the last week, I think, and almost 6,000 comments that our team has had to make sure stay on track and do well. So what we're going to do is, and I've talked about this in the past, from a marketing standpoint, and I've done this in everything I do, we're going to growth hack a little bit. We're going to try some different formats to help make sure that questions are getting answered, because that's so important to us. And so sometimes we go through and we'll shut down comments after there's been 20 or 30 people that have commented and a post has had sufficient activity. I know with other groups, they don't even allow posting. There are some groups that just say, we have to approve every post that's done. Well, we don't want to do that. And so what we're going to do, though, is every day, starting tomorrow, there's going to be, and we're going to try this through the end of the month and see how it works. We're going to put a post up that says, hey, it's Wednesday, post your Wednesday questions here. And if you have any questions about Master Books Curriculum, post it in that one post, and then our team is going to be very vigilant to make sure that we're answering the questions in that post. Doesn't mean you can't post on your own. It's a way to consolidate some of the questions, because a lot of times the questions that come in are repeat questions, and so we have these whole discussions that just happened the day before, and our team just continually has that. So we're going to do this, and so save your questions, because every day we're going to give away 1,000 reward points. No, 10. Let's see. Yeah, 1,000 reward points is $10 worth of credit. Yes. So we're giving away. We're going to feature one question every day and give away $10 of reward points. So save a question that you have to go into one of those posts, and then Thursday there will be another. Hey, what are your questions today? It's Wednesday question day, and the team has been instructed to get right in and answer questions, as quickly as we can, or when we see them, and so that'll give. Hopefully, we can kind of consolidate some of the questions so that the team can go to one place to answer the questions, and then. The other thing to do and to know is that every Friday, so this was birthed out of, there seemed to just be a time where there were a lot of frowny faces in the group, like we were kind of just having to work through who we were, who belonged, who needed probably to move on and everything else. And there was a lot of frowny faces. And so I created Frowny Face Free Friday, which was where we celebrated the wins and we celebrated the good things, and we just said no frowny faces today. We've dealt with frowny faces for 4 days this week. Now we need to deal with some happy faces. And I love those posts. That's where you celebrate the wins of your kids. You show them discovering things. Their pictures of them graduating, their test scores, anything like that that's worth celebrating in the week. We want to celebrate that with you, because we know that you don't always get people who celebrate. We do celebrate your wins, and we're excited about your wins. The reason why it's worth saving it to a consolidated post is that we choose one of those posts every week and give out 2,500 reward points, which is $25. And so if you're going to post, it's great to do it in a place where you have a chance. If there's 20 questions a day that come in on a post, you have a 1 in 20 chance of winning $10, and every day we're going to do that. If it's for the frowny face, I think those have actually been running. There's like 150 posts, so you have like a 1 in 150 chance of winning $25 of reward points. So it's worth doing that, and so that's something we want to do. Teaching tips. I think teaching tips are important. Why? Because there are things that I wish somebody had told me when I was starting this journey. And sometimes I know there are things that maybe you don't want to tell your husband, but he'll listen to it from somebody who's been there, who's made the mistake and wants to give back a little bit, right? So I know, or just provide some insights into parenting. We don't have all the answers, but we've been in parenting now for 30 years, and we've learned a few things along the way, and we've learned some things not to do. So I want to provide that, but I think we're going to move the teaching tips. Thursday teaching tips is going to be moved into the app, because the app is more conducive to that kind of relationship, and it opens up some space in the Facebook group. So we'd encourage you, get the app so that you can participate. Now, the videos will still be available on YouTube, just like they've been, so you still have access to it. And these are free. So you can get into the app for free. You can get the YouTube channel is free. There's no cost. It's just a reshuffling of things a little bit so that we have capacity to continue to serve. We have grown substantially in the last year, and the Facebook group is already ramping up pretty heavy. And everybody's got these wide eyes, like, I don't even know how we're going to continue to provide a level of support because of the activity. And the way we're going to do it is just kind of shuffling a little bit. What I said earlier was we realized there was a need for community in the app, because the app is, we realized in the group there was a need for community, right? But we couldn't do it. So we've invested a fair amount of energy and finances to build an app and have an app built for us that allowed us the ability to develop community. So in the app, we have a chapel where people are praying for other families or posting testimonies. That's awesome. We have a chit chat group, because sometimes you just want to have a chit chat with other like-minded moms. Now, we don't allow outside promotion or selling of essential oils or talk about vaccines and stuff like that, but it's more just chit chat, like, here's my family, what's going on in my family. So we have a chit chat group, which is incredible. We have, there's a photo group, which I've actually learned because people will post like what filters they're using and pictures of their kids. Jana, who we've used a lot of her pictures from Welcome to Our Cabin, has posted some on the focus and imaging and stuff like that. So there's that. We have an inspirations. We love to know what your classrooms look like. We love to know what you do with your bindings. We love to know how you celebrate using Master Books product. The inspirations group is a great place to post that and help other families in that group. What else?
The inspiration group, Justin?
The inspirations group, yep, that was the bindings. Then we just added, there's a book club. So we're doing Pitching a Fit. The moms that are in there are doing a book club with Pitching a Fit. That's kind of cool. You're part of all of them. A special needs group. We have a special needs group there. So all of the special needs group that's and Facebook has been moved into the special needs group here. And yeah. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you see the questions post go up. If you don't have questions, but you don't mind just looking through and participating and helping to encourage that to be the format where questions are asked and get answered, we'd appreciate that. And then if you're not part of the Master Books app, we would love for you to join us over there if you enjoy the community, if you want to be part of community with us. We have a team of coaches there that have, they've been around the block with us. They know the product. They know how to answer questions and be a blessing to you. And then that's really where we're putting some energy. Then the Master Books Academy has a component to it as well. As that continues to grow, there will be some more area for teaching tips, support, and actual, help there. So hopefully that answers some questions about what you're going to see in the next couple of weeks and why you're going to see it. We adore everyone in these groups, and we want to continue to serve and pour out. We just want to do it in a way that we can continue to do it. I've said this just recently. When a company only has 20 people that they serve, you can give a lot of attention. It's 1 to 20. when you have 26,000 people, suddenly it becomes a lot harder to do that. And just adding more resources doesn't do it, because you've lost that level of intimacy that you have with a smaller group. Well, we're going to work really hard to maintain the connection that we have with each of the groups for what they were designed for, and doing it in a way that allows us to use the resources without burning everybody out. Okay? So hopefully that helps.
A couple questions from that, if
Yeah.
you're ready.
I'm ready. Shoot.
Some feedback. Heather said, love how much thought has been put into creating groups to benefit us. I'm super excited about the book club.
Yes,
Vicky,
thank you.
over in the app. Oh, wait, I gotta scroll. A couple of people had asked about whether or not it would be available for desktop view, or like the app would be available for desktop or tablets.
I use it in a tablet. You just download it as an app, not as a browser. So that, like, most of your tablets would run on Android or Apple. And so you go to the store and just download the app, and it works on a tablet and it works on the phone. Unfortunately, the desktop isn't supported yet. It's something that they're working on, but that's not a feature yet that we have. But let me say, one of the reasons that we went this direction is because on our website, what was it, 60 to 80% of people who are on our website or shopping are using their phones. Like, I've been blown away by the fact that everybody who's shopping and buying books are doing it from their phones.
Christina said she uses it on her iPad, so it does work there.
Yeah, we're broadcasting from my iPad right now with it.
Vicky asked if you can post when the videos are in the Facebook group, the teaching tips.
Yeah, well, they're every Thursday at 3. So that's a standing that we just do a teaching tip every Thursday at 3. But we will post when something's going to go live in the app.
And then the Brick family asked, will the reply feature be encouraged or discouraged on the streamlined posts?
Reply feature in the Facebook, we encourage it.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah, just a little bit of clarity on that, and we'll try and answer that question.
Yeah, on a streamlined post, if you ask your question and you can reply, we still encourage moms with experience to jump in and participate in that conversation. It just puts it all in one post.
Awesome. All right, ready to jump into some regular Q&A questions?
I think I'm ready.
There we go.
Dun, dun,
Here we go.
dun, 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 dun.
Karen asks, is there a way to get a flip through the entirety of some of the books? I really need to see the flow, pace, layout, and such for my special needs kiddo. I know you can see the first few pages online.
We provide a lot more than the first few pages. We try to be intentional about the first few pages, then some content in the middle, or at least a substantial amount of content that you can make a decision. From my understanding of what people have said is we're real generous in it, but we have to be careful because we have a responsibility to our authors to protect their intellectual property. So we can't put it out there without purchase. We try to put as much as we can to make it so you can see a good balance of it, and then we provide the content descriptions. Like, there's a lot of videos of walkthroughs and discussing products, and I realize we've been talking about it. Brittany's actually been working on creating videos, but I realized that we haven't really we used to do January was math month, and this year kind of got wonky.
Yeah.
Wonky and ucky and wonky.
Ucky. Yeah, I'm spending too much time with the grandkids.
Willy Wonky. Wonky donkey.
Willy Wonka.
The donkey thing. Okay,
Oh,
never
the
mind.
wonky donkey. Anyways, Brit family said, awesome. I'm in a few groups that discourage the reply feature and it confuses me. So it must just be when they post and then they shut off commenting immediately.
Okay, so we do shut down commenting on certain posts. We shut down commenting on posts that have the post is run away. There's already a lot of answers. It's been answered sufficiently. And what Facebook does, it works off a logarithm. So if a post has a lot of activity, it puts it at the top. And then posts that don't are getting pushed down. And so posts get missed. So sometimes we do that. There are other times, let's say we're going to have a conversation about King James Version, Bible version do you use? Well, that post has a potential to go a lot of different ways. Master Books has a standard answer. We allow our authors to use it, the version that they choose, but we encourage families to use the version that they want because all the references are given and they can do that. That's the answer we need. We don't really need to have a big knockdown drag out about which version is correct for your family. We trust that you've researched versions and you're using the version that works for your family. So in those cases, we'll shut it down. Sometimes there are other posts that, it's not really related to curriculum, and it would be better served in a general group than it would be in Facebook. And so we'll try to be as polite as we can and say, hey, let's that's probably a better serve somewhere else. And so we'll shut that down. If it's related to the product, comments are good as long as it doesn't run away. You know what I'm saying? So it overtakes the group.
Right, but we try to get answers to everything, or we allow room for conversation and stuff.
There are very few posts that go unanswered.
Jess, hi Jess, welcome back. Jess asked, do you think in the future there will be an option to have spiral-bound books when placing orders? It's not a big deal to me either way, I'm just curious.
No, we've talked about it, but if you do spiral bounds, there's benefits and minuses. With spiral bounds, if you put the answer key in, the reason we do our books, right? You buy a student book. My story. Okay, so in this book has everything that you need. It has teacher information, it has the student pages, it has resources in the back with an answer key. When you get into spiral bounding, like right now the perfs, you can tear out one of these pages and hand it to your student, or you can tear out the parent stuff or the answer keys in the back and hand the book to your student. There's some options with it. When you get into spiral binding, if you tear it out, you're going to end up with spiral, what are the rabbit ears everywhere?
Yeah, they make a big mess.
Yeah. The other thing is, from a company standpoint, we try to keep our prices low. Spiral bounding will add about $5 to the price of producing each of these books. So we understand that. The other thing is shipping. Shipping a spiral bound book causes a lot of issues. There's damage to the spirals. It requires something extra. So from an affordability, production standpoint, and usability standpoint, this format is the one that we've settled on that serves the most people. I just kind of lost where my sentence is going. But it serves the most people. And then in understanding that there are people who want to take it and have it bound or do something different. It's just not, we've had this debate a lot. We've had this debate about 3 times during the lockdown because we're always looking for ways to improve. But I think in the long run, there'd be as much on the backside of that.
Awesome. She said that makes sense. I understand where you're coming from.
Thank you for your understanding, Jess. We appreciate that.
And Vanderloo asked, when will we get a sneak peek of the Adventures in Creation 2 and Beginner Science 2? Soon, please.
Yeah, Adventures, well, God's Design for Beginners, Heaven and Earth, is in the final stages, I believe, of getting ready. I would say probably we're a couple weeks out on Adventures in the creation of Adventures in the Physical World. So yeah, hopefully beginning of June. You should be able to see something beginning of June.
Awesome. Jennifer asked, hi, wondering if or when any curriculum sales may be happening before fall. I will have a 5th, 2nd, and pre-K to shop for.
No. We offer a discount every day that is, if you buy individual products, it's 20% off retail prices, which from publisher standpoint, that's really good because a lot of publishers don't sell at a discount. So we give 20%. If you buy a set, like in that, sometimes like my story is one book, but it's considered a set because it's all you need, then this book would be 26% off retail. If you buy 3 or more sets, we give you 30%. We bump the discount up to 30% off retail. And then if you order 3 or more sets, almost always it's over $75. And so we give free shipping in the continental contiguous US for that. And so that's our everyday pricing. Occasionally they may get an emailed coupon that comes from part of our drip campaign for being a customer or whatever. So those are available as an additional discount. We only offer like one mega sale. It's one day in December. It's an insane day usually, and we give and add 20% off that everyday sale. So in December you can buy and get the additional 20, but we don't offer any other sales really through from now on. In fact, pretty quick, well, usually I guess the beginning of July we end our flash sales until October, just because the guys are, flash sales today. We had some good flash sale items, and there was a lot of sales out, and they're not always in love with me in the warehouse. Like, there's just not this love relationship at all with me. So
they're like, another flash sale, really?
They're up like, can we not have a flash sale today? And we're like, what? The moms need us.
You're gonna disappoint all those moms? Really?
They need us. Like, if we don't do flash sales to fill their libraries with books, no. And they leave disappointed.
Yeah.
And then they slash my tires and paint my car. Nah, that's not really happened, but it would be funny if it did.
In their minds, they do.
They probably do in their
Some
minds.
feedback from Shannon. She said, I would love to see a printable spine included with the PDFs. I've made some of my own to slide in the notebook, but an official one would be nice.
Printables.
Like, so when you print the books off and put them in like the binders, the 3-ring binders, a spine for the front of it, so that when they're on the bookshelf, it shows.
I will.
I thought that was good feedback, so I figured I'd read that one.
Interesting. Okay.
Seth asked, is there a list of memory verses used in Simply K? Also, what version of the Bible is used in the book? That one, somebody answered, said it's NIV.
Okay. I don't think there's a list anywhere of verses that I'm aware of. Again, with translations, we allow the authors to choose their own translation. And then we encourage families, like we know that there's a fair amount of families that they only use KJV or ESV. So we encourage families to teach their child, here's a reference, here's the translation they're using. We use KJV for this reason, and so let's look it up what it says here, and maybe even compare the two and teach them how to discern between the two. One thing I'll say about translations, and you're welcome to disagree with me, but I pastored a church where I was very proud of the fact that I used a very intelligent, intellectual translation. But unfortunately, the church that I pastored had an average reading level of about 3rd grade. And it was almost humiliating for me to switch and begin using NLT because I felt like I was making a compromise. But I noticed significant growth with the people that I was pastoring because suddenly they were beginning to understand the scriptures. There's a chart that's available with Bible sellers, and you might be able to access it even, but it has all of the different translations and regarding the level of translation. And some translations are word for word, some are concept for concept, some are interpretations, but there's a grade level associated with each. And so a KJV is 12th grade or higher, the comprehension level. When you get down to NLT, New Living Translation, which used to be, what was it? I can't remember. Anyways, that's a 3rd grade reading level. And so the NIV is a little bit higher of a reading level. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's like 5th through 9th grade reading level that they would put that at. And so it's just one thing to consider. Paraphrase is a good, yes. But NLT actually was another Bible. It was called something, it was a Living Bible. Yes, it was a Living Bible for years, and then became the New Living Translation. Okay.
Awesome. I was wondering, can you use the Intro to Economics as a math, or is it more history? I think that's...
Can you use Intro to Economics? That would be more history. It falls under the social studies that on a transcript, not math. It's not like economics. It would be more your social studies. Typically on a transcript, you'd have half a credit of economics and half a credit of government.
Awesome. Carrie asks, any advice for unit studies in like science and history where there's a large age difference between the oldest and the youngest?
Well, I think sometimes having the older students teach the younger students is awesome, and sometimes books like the Wonders of Creation series, where students can study the weather or study caves or study fossils. Those would be good ideas. It's a little bit harder with some of the technical, because if you have high school students, what they need to learn about chemistry and biology and that, it may not even be appropriate for the younger students sometimes. So, or it may require algebra, and so a younger student isn't required. So it kind of depends on the amount of span that you have between students and the content.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is kind of a long comment, so ready?
Yes.
Angela said, looking for your suggestions. My two oldest girls are 2 years apart. I want to do science and history together. My oldest is starting K this coming school year after completing 2+ years of home preschool. She's going to fly through level K work.
Okay.
So how do I teach them together when my oldest has a 2-year head start? One, if I want to do science together when both of my girls are in school, K and second, what can I use for the first 2 years when only my oldest is in school? My plan is to do Adventures in Creation and Life for Beginners and K and 1. But I don't know how to get my girls on the same science track.
Well, for a kindergarten student, here's my recommendation. Maybe do a read aloud, or have your older student read the material, and then do the work, and then just have the younger one participate and listen. We have the Science of Delaney videos that are provided by somebody, a customer who's using, and she does a great job of filming those. And Delaney is probably first grade, second grade, right? And her little sister must be 4,
She's adorable.
3-ish, 4-ish. And she just hangs out and participates in the experiments and stuff.
Sometimes eats the experiments.
Sometimes
it's really
eats the
cute.
experiment. At that level, they're going to get this stuff over and over again. They don't need to retain it. You're more just introducing it to them. They'll, like, when they do the bee pollination experiment, like, think of what you remember from kindergarten or first grade. You're just kind of exposing and giving them that awareness. So focus a little bit more on the second grader and have the younger student just kind of be aware and participating. That would be my comment. Others, you can weigh in on that if you have a suggestion on that.
Okay, so same situation. What can I use for history 1 year if I wait to start my story 1 with both girls until the younger one starts K?
See, my story is awesome. My story isn't meant about retention. Sometimes we get reviews on it, and this is one thing my story. I want the author is actually, we're talking about him doing a course in Master Books Academy where he reads to the student and then explains the lessons. The goal of my story is just to give an awareness. It's let's talk about the city we live in, and let's talk about policemen, and let's talk about our neighbors. And they don't have to memorize that. If you face my story like a memorization book, you kind of miss the point. It's more about awareness. And so when you go into my story, you could definitely do that with even a younger student, because we're just going to read and talk about it. And then when we drive through town and we see the police station, we're going to say, hey, remember we talked about the police station today, or we waters with missionaries when they carry the buckets for 5 miles. They could still participate in it, because it's not really where they're memorizing and taking a test.
Awesome. some Carrie Bear weighed in. She said, for the unit study question, pick a topic for the older student and then search for kids. And there are a ton of books that will pop up and that you will be able to pair with the topic you are using for your older kid.
Yep.
So, Veronica asked, will there be any back to school sales this summer?
Nope. The back to school, the only sale we offer is in December. That's a massive sales event. Other than that, it's discounted every day, like I explained earlier.
What would you recommend for a high schooler whose test results show a significantly lower score in language usage and structure than in all other areas? Jensen's Grammar is the only Master Books language book that the student has used.
I would say that's a pretty difficult one. I would look at the Writing Strands series. Stay with me because I know there's another question on this, and so I'm gonna help with that. I would suggest Writing Strands to answer that. Go ahead.
That was the only one on there though. Unless she comments later.
No, there's another question about language lessons.
Okay, Sarah Bates. I'm assuming this is maybe the one you were talking about.
Okay.
How does language lessons for living education compare with Writing Strands? Do they complement each other? Does Writing Strands also have a Charlotte Mason feel to it? Is grammar taught comprehensively in Writing Strands?
Okay, that's not the question,
Okay.
but I'll approach it. Grammar is taught in language lessons more than it's taught in Writing Strands. Writing Strands is a writing course with grammar as you go. It gives you what you need. We talk about nouns because you need to understand the place of nouns and the different types of nouns and noun usage in Writing Strands. Language lessons is going to do the same, but it's going to give you just a little bit more practice with grammar. Somebody asked the question and said, my child just finished grade 3, level 3 language lessons, and
I see that.
they didn't do well. Ask that question.
Are you done with answering the other
Yes.
one? Okay. Jennifer asked, in language lessons level 3, there is a review in lesson 35 and 36. I used them as a quiz and my child failed both. Grammar is where she is struggling. Should I have her do level 3 again or let her move forward but add more games, copywork, and activities to help cement all the grammar definitions and uses?
Yes, and I confirmed this with the author at lunch, my wife. But she said, learning grammar is about learning to communicate. It's about learning how to write. It's not about learning how to do grammar. And so in a case like this, what we were looking for is, are they developing as a writer? Are they developing in their communication skills? I will tell you firsthand, I know a lot of people who are very good at grammar who are very poor communicators. In fact, sometimes it's remarkable. What we're looking for is to create good communicators, and we do that by learning about grammar. But learning about grammar for the sake of learning about grammar doesn't help us become better communicators. And so Writing Strands is a good communications course. It teaches how to use your words wisely. It teaches you how to write descriptively, and it doesn't overwhelm the student with grammar because it's more focused on communication and writing. Language lessons to me is a great hybrid of teaching the components of grammar, but really the focus there as well is choosing your words, thinking about descriptions, a lot of different components, preparing them for writing in a high school level.
Cool. Jennifer also asked, suggestions to help eliminate the chaos, noise, and distractions that happen when homeschooling multiple kids doing different lessons at the same time.
Lock them outdoors because the house gets quieter. But you can't do that, so...
Here's my answer, but you can't do it. But
so here's probably what we have. Even at work, I'm pushing for this is quiet time. Like, hey, we start school at 9 o'clock, and at 9 o'clock, that's when things are quiet. And I know there are little ones, and sometimes they can be loud, and it's not always ideal. But what we would do is actually have like a playroom where mom would have the little ones in a playroom while the older ones were in the schoolroom working. And so that was kind of the time that they did what they did. But school time was always kind of a sacred time where if you're at 9 o'clock, you're at your desk and you're working, and it's relatively quiet. And we start school at 9 o'clock because that's when by doing it that way and having a schedule, it helps everybody's brain become, oh, it's school time. We didn't necessarily always have a schoolroom, but we always had a school time. And that's when everybody's expected to be there.
Right. Jessica gave some feedback on the last question. She said, also, Kristen recommends that the review portions are used open book. Even if you're using them as a quiz, allow your child to look up the information throughout the book and pages from the back.
Yeah,
this is an interesting question, one that I don't know that you'll have an answer to. Jennifer said, I have come across an old book titled 95 Animals of the Bible that was published by Master Books. Is there a reason that 51 animals were taken out and now you sell a book with only 44 animals?
I don't know. It's a
they
good
went
question.
extinct.
I don't
We
know.
probably actually 44 animals, probably it's a lot of extinct animals, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what.
But that's a good question.
Yeah, might have been a different project. Might have been animal kinds. Sometimes projects, as the creation science movement has become more intentional. I know sometimes the process of those that can affect a book because for whatever reason, I don't know. So yeah, I don't really have a good answer. I'm sorry.
Harley likes your idea of locking them outdoors.
Wait till after the kids are out of school, though.
Yeah, that was one thing. We used to be allowed to go outside, like out front in the yard and play and stuff, but before school let out, like the public schools, we'd play in the backyard.
Yeah, you didn't want to attract too much attention.
Yeah. Amanda said, for first grade, do you recommend Foundations Phonics or language lessons for living education? Do they teach the same thing, just a different approach?
I recommend both. It's Foundation Phonics is designed to begin in first grade. You do it for the first semester, and then it transitions into language lessons for living education 1 in the second semester. So together it makes a full year reading and then language course.
Awesome. Heather asked, what is the reading level of the God's Design books? I know they are supposed to be for 3rd through 8th grade, but I'm wondering the actual reading level of the text. Is it written at a level that a 3rd grader will be able to understand, or would I need to do a lot of simplifying? I think I actually saw that Heather is in the live stream. So hi, Heather.
I think it can be a challenging 3rd grade, which is why we recommend doing the life science first and not doing chemistry or ecology or the physics. So doing life science, then heaven and earth, because the reading comprehension is a little easier there than when you move up.
Awesome. Tiffany said, for Writing Strands Advanced 2, is there a print version of Pilgrim's Progress that would have the same chapters marked as the PDF, or do you recommend just printing out the PDF so the pages and chapters match the assignments if student does not like screen reading? What are you doing?
I'm so happy this question was asked. I'm like so happy this question was asked.
Good.
Pilgrim's
Hey,
Progress.
I was right. Heather is in the live chat.
If you've never read Pilgrim's Progress, it's an incredible book.
That is why you're excited. I wondered why that was on the floor.
This book isn't cheap because it's like $60 retail, so discount that 20%. But this is a family heirloom. Like, this book is a remarkable book. It's published. Attic Books and Master Books, one of the imprints that we use. And this book, it's got gold leaf. It's got a ribbon in it. It's got the beautiful pages. The Pilgrim's Progress that's available as a free download is actually this edition. It matches this. In fact, if you see the pages, you can see that the two match exactly. This is just a fun book. It also includes John Bunyan was the author. Let's see. The original book was published in 1876. We've got this book of Pilgrim's Progress actually includes Bunyan's personal memoir, his last sermon preached in the year 1688, his personal account of his life before he accepted Christ, and then there's this has like art in it. Let me just see if I can find some of the art.
Just ask, is it on sale on Master Books?
It is available at Master Books. Is it on sale? It's always the the 20% off.
You should show how big the text is, unless you. I'm reading comments, so I didn't see if you did already show the text.
Yeah, compared to my finger, like it's very
and then up a bit
big.
more.
The light is kind of hard.
Now they can see it.
Okay. Then in the back, there's a bunch of different, like there's one of the art in it. Just beautiful artwork from the time that this book was published. Then you have like Mr. John Bunyan's dying sayings. This is really profound, so I'm going to read it. Sin is a great block and a bar to our happiness, the procurer of all miseries to man, both here and hereafter. Take away sin, nothing can hurt us, for death, temporal, spiritual, and eternal is the wages of it. Sin, a man for sin, is the object of the wrath of God. How dreadful, therefore, must his case be who continues to sin. For who can bear or grapple with the wrath of God? No sin against God can be little, because it is against the great God of heaven and earth. But if the sinner can find out a little God, it may be easy to find out little sins. So sin turns all God's grace into wantonness. It is to dare of his justice, the rape of his mercy, the jeer of his patience, the slight of his power, and the contempt of his love. Take heed of giving thyself liberty to committing one sin, for that will lead thee to another, till by an ill custom it becomes natural to sin. To begin a sin is to lay a foundation for a continuance. This continuance is the mother of custom and impudence, of the last the issue. The death of Christ giveth us the best discovery of ourselves, and that what condition we were in, that nothing could help us but that, the most clear discovery of the dreadful nature of our sins. For if sin be so dreadful a thing as to wring the heart of the Son of God, how poor a wretched sinner is able to bear it.
Make a good morning basket read aloud.
That would make good morning basket read aloud. So this book is the book that you can use with Writing Strands Advanced 2, which is designed for a student that would be in high school. So this would be a great literature book. It would be a great family book, and it's just a fun book to have on the coffee table. And like I say, I mean, the ribbon is pretty cool. Like,
You know he's hyped up when he reads the book. Your Italian came out.
I'm not Italian.
You held your fingers like this the entire time you read.
That's a preaching hand.
That's a preaching hand?
That's a preaching hand.
Italian. No, you weren't going like this. You were going like this the entire time.
Well, maybe I preach with my whole hand.
It's intense. Our whole family talks with our hands. I've been doing these videos and everybody's been laughing at me because I'm like, hey everybody, what's up?
What does it smell like? Well, this is an older copy.
The smell test.
This book smells, it doesn't smell like a musty book. It smells like a newer book, but this one isn't. They come shrink wrapped, so this was out of the library here at the press. So I don't know that there's a strong.
This one doesn't have the new inks, like the new book ink printer smell.
Yeah.
But it does smell, it doesn't have like that stale.
The pages.
Heather is laughing at us, but there's a whole group of us on here. Book Sniffers Anonymous.
We're connoisseurs.
And like the feel of the cover is like that
Antique leather.
Well, it's not just the hard, it's got that like soft.
Oh, it's embossed.
Thank you. But it's like that soft, hard cover.
Yeah, it's a quality book. $55.99, Jessica says, and the it's on a light yellow paper, manila color, so it's real easy to read.
Yeah, Jess said there seriously should be a new room book smell spray.
We have it in our warehouse for the smell of the forklifts. Okay.
Soft is the word I was looking for, Jessica. Yes, it's a soft feeling hardcover book. Okay. M. Vanderloo had asked in the app, when the new science comes in, will they be immediately available for purchase at Christian Books? We are in Canada and have to get it from there for cheaper shipping.
Available immediately? No. It arrives here first, and then they have to place an order, and then it has to ship. So sometimes it can be 2 to 4 weeks before it arrives at a reseller's.
Awesome. Laura said, has there been a video about the new geography resources you have? If not, could you give a quick rundown of what they will cover and how they mesh with your other social studies materials?
We have done a video talking about the Knowledge Quest, the Geography Matters. We probably need, it's going in the catalog. We have a new catalog that's in, I got the final proof I have to go through. And if you've purchased from Master Books in the last 18 months, you're getting a summer edition catalog with some of the new products in it, and that's in it. So we probably need to talk about it.
Lisa said, I love the way Master Book Curriculum smells, and Kim said, Master Books smell different than any other books I've gotten. I know. I'm not a big, I shouldn't say that I'm not like a big reader or book person, but those on the shelf, they smell so good. It's like a different, I don't know, ink or something. It just, every time I get a new book, I read dip as I like flip through it. But
That's
anyways.
Yeah, anyways.
Well, you think in colors.
Yes.
I think in smells. I don't know if that's a thing. Irina said, I'm just gonna move back on to comments. Irina said, should I wait using world story writing strands after completing language lesson 6? My 5th grader already started level 6, and I can see that it has a lot of creative writing activities. Initially, I plan on using it alongside writing strands beginning, but I don't want to overload my daughter with writing, even though she struggled before with it.
My preferred would be to do language lessons 6 and just do that, and then when you're done, do the test for writing strands and see where they are for writing strands, and then move into writing strands. I wouldn't do both together.
Awesome.
I know some people do, but
Angela followed up on her comment earlier. She said, hey, thanks for discussing my question about getting my girls on the same science history track. You did a great job of explaining the gentle approach of these programs. My question is, what do you recommend for my oldest daughter the first 2 years when her younger sister is not ready for school-age work? Do you suggest a separate book besides Adventures in Creation or Life for Beginners and My Story 1 for K and 1 for my oldest while she is waiting for her little sister to start school? So I don't think she wants to put them both in at the same time, just putting the oldest in.
I would go probably grade appropriate for your oldest, right? I get the heart of wanting to teach multiple students at a time. But I think sometimes we have to be careful that we also remember the individual. And so the beauty of homeschooling is that you can tailor it to the individual. And as we've homeschooled for a lot of years, every student has a different track that's tailored to what they like and what they're going to do best in. So when you can as a family, it makes sense. But I wouldn't lose sight of the fact of the individualized education. So I would, if your second grader is ready, do what's right for your second grader. And then you'll learn from that process as well for the kindergartner.
I'm just reading the comments about
still
book
on the
sniffers
book
and
sniffers.
options. Laura said, smellers of master books. Can we have a section in the app?
No, because you can't
A
actually.
discussion for the smells of master.
That's weird.
Moving. Oh, you just don't get it. See, we get it though.
Yeah.
And who said it? Kim said it doesn't have to be book sniffers anonymous, because we're not ashamed to be book sniffers.
Go, Kim.
Sarah said, is there a placement test for Jacob's elementary algebra or geometry? Daughter took algebra with teaching textbooks and don't know what level to put her in.
I think there's a placement guide on Dale Callahan's site, Ask Dr. Callahan. We don't have one. Usually with algebra, it's that they've completed either pre-algebra or a basic math, like 8th grade math, to move into it. If they're going to struggle with fractions, division, decimals, anything like that, then they're going to struggle with algebra. So
My mom said, Randy, I'm just going to send my oldest to you and get him on track. Then I'll take him back and pick up where you left off.
It may not help. So.
It
may make or break him. I don't know. You can do it. You can do it. Every kid is individual, and parenting is hard. It's work. Man, it's work, and it's not easy. But there's a payoff, and at the end of the day, if we try our hardest, I believe the Lord will honor that, and that's all we can do. And we have to give ourselves room for growth, because we're not perfect parents. There's only one perfect parent, and that's God Almighty. And we just do our best, and we adapt all the time. Being aware is a big thing. Stepping back and saying, okay, what's happening here? Because as families, it's easy to get stuck in, this is what we do, and we're just in a routine. Sometimes it's easy to get stuck in our phones. I do it all the time, and I'm not present. Even today at lunch, I felt the Holy Spirit say, man, you need to be present. You need to be like here, because this will be here, and it's nothing actually. It just continues. You need to get present with where you are. And that's a big part of parenting, is being present and being awake and saying, and every kid's so unique. One size doesn't fit all. What worked for the oldest isn't going to work for the next one. It's not going to work for the youngest. Every kid has to be like, hey, it's a new book, and let's try to figure out how to work with this story. I just went off on a
Randy rant. Vicky asked, can we get a group on the app for only child education? Something to consider.
Something to consider, yeah. We can certainly ask questions about only child education. Some of us who had large families had we had only children for a long time. And I think sometimes we can help. Plus, here's the other thing, and the two aren't exclusive, right? I have 9 children, but all 9 children are very different individuals, and you have one child, or a limit, like you're homeschooling one child at a time right there. But sometimes it's good to have the wide range of people to draw from.
Caitlin, I was going to say the exact same thing, but I decided to refrain myself. She said, and each kid smells differently, just like the Master Books.
They so do. Some kids have a good smell. This is awful, and hopefully your kids don't ask you what they were. Some babies come out of the womb smelling good, and some of them have a different smell.
This is why I was going to refrain from saying anything.
Caitlin's a troublemaker anyways.
I literally went to say it and I was like, okay. 2 more questions to wrap it off.
See, Caitlin is the one who she's a moderator in the group, and so as we were talking, she said the comment of, sometimes you just say, oh, what small hands a baby has. So when you go to see a baby, if the baby's a little homely and you don't know what to say, you just say, what small hands.
Hopefully she doesn't have a lot of friends in this group and you just gave that away.
She said they don't have small hands. If you're a friend of Caitlin's.
This is why we don't say things like that. Sometimes we just gotta refrain. You get them going.
You take it back. Sorry, Caitlin, just threw you under the bus. And all Caitlin's friends are like, that's what she said when she was visiting our baby.
Don't think my baby's cute.
I hope they grow into those hands. There you go.
Wow. Okay. Everybody's like, oh no. Don't tell Caitlin's secrets. Great. Look what you just did. Quick. 2 more questions before we wrap this one off. Jill said, is there any way to increase the volume of the live streams? I have my volume all the way up, but it's still hard to hear above the usual family life going on. I'm usually working in the kitchen while trying to listen. Kids are always coming through. Is there a way to make the volume louder from your end?
On the live stream in the app?
She is in the app. Correct.
Okay.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
Caitlin said they love me. And final question. Tiffany said, how do you start a morning basket when you haven't and you have teens down to 5th grade? the oldest thinks that it's for the little kids, and he's too old for it.
There's a lot of different ways to do a morning basket. Have him help.
Choose the books.
Choose a book. Yeah. Do like, there's a lot of good books to read, like the devotional, the 10-minute Bible journey that you could do. For a lot, like the 44 Animals of the Bible would be a great one. And just kind of, hey guys, gather around. We're going to read this. I'm going to have the older student read it to the younger students. Or choose kind of a chapter book like Pilgrim's Progress and read it together as a family. And I think morning baskets are meant just to be a devotional time to come together and do that. Growth hack it. Try a little bit. If it doesn't work, don't stay married to it. Like don't force it. Back up a little bit. Try something else.
There's a few people saying that the app isn't as loud as Facebook, and they usually just pop in headphones.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we have our Facebook. We have a special microphone. The app has a limit right now with live streaming. They're working on a new solution for the platform, and if I can do that, it'll give a lot more power to the live stream in the app.
Crystal said, I can't wait for my first order to come in so I can see what y'all are talking about with the smells. You're in for a treat. You'll have to let us know what you think.
The warehouse is probably spraying the books.
Every book gets a little.
They don't.
Master Books.
They don't spray, because I know from pastoring a church, if there are too many strong odors, people get upset. So they don't spray. They don't.
Okay, those were our last two questions, I think. Can
That's it?
wrap it up.
Okay. How would you like to wrap it up?
Go smell books. I don't know. I don't like that pressure. You always say goodbye.
Yeah.
I mean, mine are just blunt, and have a great week, everybody.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, we appreciate the questions. We appreciate everybody who's in the groups today and participating. And it's been a joy to watch your families this season. Some of you guys who you come in and you kind of ask a lot of questions, then you start, then you question yourself, did I make a mistake? Then you stick it out, then you see the light, then you take the test, then you see more of the light, then you tell more of your friends about Master Books, and there's this cycle that we watch going on, and it's kind of cool. And then some of you have been around for long enough to see, someone was telling me Jessica, she was the videos with Katie back in the very beginning. Those were the most awkward videos that I've ever done. Now this is my awkward normal self, not my awkward beginner self. So that was there. After you do these, they're actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Hey, we pray that you have a blessed week and that you're able to enjoy the smell of your books.
Yes.